Right, Rails and rocks. Rails rocks! Classic. Right. This is really quick, the quickest history of Rails ever. This is a man who wrote Rails and his name is DHH and nobody can pronounce his name because it's too European, and it was made in 2004 at Version Signals. We worked at Version Signals and we wrote it there. This is plan. Basically, I thought anyone could do a tutorial into like Rails, and you can find 100 online. So it's not going to be like this is how you set up a Rails project and this is how you do Rails. It's going to be why I think Rails rocks and what features are in Rails that aren't in other frameworks that are better and why you should use it. So it's a bit of a death match. Right. So first reason why Rails is better than everything else in the world is Ruby, which is the language that it's written in, and it's probably, for me, the biggest selling factor of Rails is the language it's written in. And I've got just a few random examples that are totally contrived that just show you how beautiful Ruby is and how nice it is to work with. This is a program that, given a list of the numbers from 1 to 200, returns you an array of all the numbers that are bigger than 100. It's totally contrived. I couldn't think of any better example. But this is how you do it in PHP, right? So you write a function, big nums, which takes an array. So you declare a temporary array, and you go through all the numbers, and you go, if it's bigger than 100, add it to the temporary array, and then return the temporary array at the end. Yeah. This is how you do it in Ruby. Define a function, big nums, takes an array of numbers, and then it pretty much just reads like English language. So you do numbers dot select, where x is greater than or equal to 100. So what's happening here is this is a block in Ruby. So a block is a bit like a function, but it's not a function because it doesn't have a name, and you can't call it directly, and you can't assign it to variables. But it's a block of code. Anything between these two braces is like a block of code. Sorry. And you can pass it to certain functions. So select is a function that is a method that's on anything that's iterable, and you can pass that function a block. And what happens is this function iterates through every member of the array and calls your block on it with a parameter. So what it's saying is, what is this doing? It's going through every number in the nums array, calling this block with x as a parameter, and select only returns you the ones where this returns true, and then that's how you do a range in PHP, and that's how you do a range in Ruby, and it's just beautiful, and it's like 4 lines, and this is just ugly, and there's dollars everywhere, and shit. This is just another quick example. Print all the words that start with BA from a list of words that I made up. Now, there's a little known function in PHP where you can do array filter, so you can actually do some sort of functional stuff in PHP. So you can define a function called starts with BA, which returns you true if it does and false if it doesn't, and you can do this array filter thing, which goes through every member of this array and runs this function on it, and returns you only the ones that are true. But you can do the same in Ruby, where you can just do select the words where the word matches this regular expression. This is like a special operator. Regular expressions are built into the language, so if you do equals tilde and then a regular expression, it returns if that string matches that regular expression. Badass. You can also do, another way of doing it actually is, you can do word, square brackets and a regular expression in it, and it's because in Ruby everything is a method, even the square bracket method. I'll jump on the board just to quickly show you. Like, so like in PHP you have an array, and you can like do an index on that, like if it's an associative array, to get something out of it. In Ruby, you can have an object, any object, everything's an object, and you can use the same syntax, right? But say this is an instance of your own class called like my magic class or something. You don't need to worry really about the class syntax, but you can define a method on this class called that. That's the name of the method. Square bracket and another square bracket, and it takes a string as a parameter, right? And then you can do whatever you want in there, and the syntax then works. So it's really, really powerful if you want to do like some clever shit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you can do the same thing with like all the operators in Ruby are methods on an object. So plus is a method, minus is a method, star is a method, and then whenever you do like obj1 times obj2, all that's doing is a shortcut for obj1 dot star obj2. It's like syntactic sugar, but it means you can redefine all the operators and everything, which is badass. And that equals tilde is just another function on a string to tell you if it matches. Finally, this one prints Ruby is awesome 10 times in a row. Here's two ways you can do it in PHP. Do a for loop from 1 to 10, or you can do a while loop maintaining a counter. Here's 3 different ways you can do it in Rails, which are freaking awesome. You can just say 10 times puts Ruby is awesome. Or you can say 1 up to 10 puts Ruby is awesome. Or you can say a range from 1 to 10 for each of them puts Ruby is awesome. It's just
awesome.
Beautiful.